From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News Weekend Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Fbx Evening News. I'm Katie Looper. Our top story tonight. Fairbanks police this evening arrested 35-year-old Leroy White on charges of first-degree murder. He was booked at the Fairbanks Correctional Center. The charges are in connection with the death of 44-year-old Donald McLean, who was found dead in an apartment at 1904 Rickard Street on January 19th. Anyone with information about the case is asked to call Detective Avery Thompson at 450-6549. Governor Bill Walker's administration is releasing more details on the Public Integrity Unit mentioned in his State of the State speech. Attorney General Craig Richards says the unit would make use of existing resources. It would focus on use of force by law enforcement, deaths in correctional facilities, and allegations of public corruption or fraud. Richards says the Department of Law's Office of Special Prosecutions was cut a bit too deeply and didn't have the resources to turn around investigations of officer-involved shootings or deaths in correction facilities fast enough. He says that prompted a look at organizing differently. Department of Law spokeswoman Corey Mills says the department is moving ahead, but she says they won't know what resources it will have available to use until the budget is finalized. A bill that would update Alaska's Military Code of Justice and strengthen penalties for certain violations has advanced from the House Judiciary Committee. The bill would update a code that has been largely unused by the Alaska National Guard. The Guard has not used it to court-martial a service member since 1955. Progress on the bill comes more than a year after the National Guard Bureau found that the Guard had not been properly investigating or adjudicating Guard member misconduct cases and did not have a process for coordinating with local law enforcement in Guard member misconduct cases. Proposed updates to the code include changes in what criminal behavior is subject to court-martial proceedings. Fort Wainwright will host the annual U.S. Army Alaska Winter Games January 26th and 27th. Battalions from both J-Bear and Fort Wainwright will be represented by 10-man teams for a total of 230 competitors in the games. The winning team will be recognized as the most proficient Arctic tough soldiers in the U.S. Army Alaska. This year's events will include a written test, downhill ski racing, live fire, uphill snowshoe, sled pull, ski joring, and more. The troops do a lot of hard training to get ready for the event.
We did a lot of ski training, so we did White Bear Loop a lot, and then we did some downhill so we can get ourselves balanced and know our equipment and just repetitiveness, so that way you get it down and you know what you're doing.
Lots and lots and lots of skiing. Get on those skis, stay on those skis.
If you're really gonna do this next year, you really need to train hard and be proficient on skis and go to the range a little more.
Eielson Air Force Base leadership invites the community of Moose Creek to a town hall meeting regarding water sampling and support to citizens on January 25th at 6 p.m. at the Moose Creek Fire Station. From 6 to 6:40 p.m., Eielson leadership and federal and state regulators will offer a community-wide update and open the floor for questions from the affected residents. From 6:45 to 7:15, experts answer house-specific questions one-on-one with affected residents, along with an information fair and displays and maps. Fairbanks restaurants strive to impress locals in a super exciting cook-off last night. It was the 6th annual soup-off for the Breadline Stone Soup Cafe, a non-profit organization that offers free meals to hungry people. This is their biggest fundraiser of the year and a well-attended event hosted at the Westmark Hotel. Local restaurants competed against one another for the best soup in Fairbanks. Community supporters walked around tasting several soups and then voted for their favorite one. In addition, participants bid on auction items and desserts. All of the proceeds benefit the Stone Soup Cafe, which then gives back to the community by offering a hot breakfast to local residents.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm somewhat of I call myself a foodie, so I wanted to come out and check out this stuff, and so far I've tasted it 4 soups. I already have my best one. I can tell you nothing's going to beat it.
I love this event because it's an opportunity to give back to the community, and Jennifer and everyone at Stone Soup has done such a wonderful job. And I also like to have a great dinner, and I see all kinds of people that I know and like to interact with.
We depend largely, if not mostly, on the generosity of Fairbanksans and other Alaskans.
My hope is that for next year's event, we'll be able to maybe double the number of meals that we serve every day and generate even more excitement in the community in Fairbanks here for what we're doing.
When we come back, we'll take a look at another one of the 21 agencies that make up the United Way of the Tanana Valley. Also, the Borough Assembly is considering new regulations for gun ranges around the interior. Those stories and more when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. The dates have been set for the annual addresses by Alaska's 2 U.S. senators to the state legislature. U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski is scheduled to give her address to a joint session of the legislature on February 17th. U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan is set to give his address February 29th. Additionally, the State of the Judiciary speech is planned for February 10th. It will be delivered by Alaska Supreme Court Chief Justice Craig Stowers. And the Fairbanks North Star Borough Assembly is considering updates of regulations for gun ranges. Last summer, the Palace 7 Even range opened off Brock Road near North Pole. Several people living in the area complained of the noise and expressed safety concerns. New regulations that are being considered would require people who want to open a new outdoor range in a general use or industrial zone to get a conditional use permit. That would require notification of residents that might be affected and a public hearing. That isn't required now. The Assembly will consider the ordinance at its meeting Thursday. Kids were drag racing with Hot Wheels today at the Fairbanks Racing Lions' 2nd annual fundraiser. Their group is dedicated to creating the first motorsports complex in North Pole. In addition to drag racing in the summer, the organization is working on providing a safe environment for youth to participate in racing sports. The up-and-coming complex will include courses for year-round racing, safety education, and emergency vehicle training. In the meantime, the organization has planned fundraisers for kids to enjoy racing activities during the cold winter weekends.
We wanted to have an event that gave back to the community that was fun, and this is kind of what we came up with, Hot Wheels drag racing, but it's our 2nd annual one. It's going to grow into something. I think it's going to be really fun. We had a great turnout this year, so it's about a day of play, something that's fun for the kids to come out and do, and it's not real expensive.
It's time once again to spotlight another one of the 21 agencies that make up the United Way of the Tanana Valley. Here's Mike Schultz with more on the ACCA.
The Alaska Center for Children and Adults was created in 1946 by concerned citizens in Fairbanks and Anchorage to support kids and their families across the state who have disabilities, especially those affected by polio. Susan Kessler has been the executive director for the past 7 years, and she said the United Way funding ACCA receives supports numerous programs within the agency.
And so here at ACCA, our biggest kind of unfunded or underfunded program is our adult speech clinic. So we use some of the United Way money for that. It allows us to run groups like, actually there's one going on down the hall right now, our weekly tech lab, where adults who have communication disorders or traumatic brain injuries or other types of challenges can come and be paired with a mentor to work on technology skills and activities of daily living.
I next asked Susan why she was so proud of her staff and the successful accomplishments they make daily.
All of the services that we provide are really focused on family. ACCA is all about families. So it's not just focusing on the individual with a disability, but really that individual in the context of their family and in the context of participation in our community, and with Fairbanks being kind of the broader family.
Finally, during her time with ACCA, is there one moment of fulfillment that really sticks out in her mind?
She's an adult who has a physical disability, and when she came to us, she had no clear communication system in place. And over the years that we've worked with her, she's now able to come here and interact with people in her own life, in her home. She's able to express what she likes, what she doesn't like, what she wants, what she doesn't want, and really just gain a measure of independence. When I think of these individual stories, that's when my heart really sings about the work that we do here at ACCA.
The United Way campaign will be ending soon, but there's still time for you to make a donation. And remember, all contributions stay within the community. Mike Schultz reporting.
Mike Fussel's coming up next with all your local sports action. He's got a look into some Friday night Ice Dogs action, and the Nanook swim team is diving their way into some top finishes. Sports is next.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Mike Fussell here with your latest local sports action. A lot of athletes are on the road this weekend, and we start off with some Nanooks who made a trek down to Seattle. Several members of the UAF swim team are at the Husky Invitational, splashing their way to some top finishes. Martha Hood pushed herself to a bronze medal performance in the 50-meter freestyle. Hood touched the wall at 26.81 seconds, just fractions behind the first place time. She gained 27 points for the Nooks with that performance and came in about 3 seconds faster in her preliminary heat. Victoria Adams was also in the pool for Alaska, kicking up bubbles in the 100-yard backstroke this morning. Adams finished 8th in Saturday prelims, clocking in at 57.31 seconds. Kate Matthews also swam her way to the finals in the women's 100-yard breaststroke, coming in at 14th. Matthews will try to push forward after a 1 minute and 5.47 second race. We'll have the full results in the next few days during the weekend recap with Joe Cook. And back in town, the Fairbanks Ice Dogs hosted the Minnesota Wilderness at the Big Dipper. Here's a look at the Friday night action. It was Game 3 of the Midwest Division Finals when the Fairbanks Ice Dogs were dealt a heartbreaking loss from the Minnesota Wilderness, knocking them out of the playoffs. That's the last time the two teams met up, but Friday night would prove to be a lot different. Until about halfway through the second period, the Dogs traded goals with the Wilderness. Short-handed Minnesota lamplighter from Isaac Berglund put the Wilderness in striking distance, 1 point behind the Ice Dogs, 2-3. That's after Logan Coombs, Clay Cross, and Todd Burgess all found the back of the net for Fairbanks. Then just 3 minutes later, a notable change in momentum would find the Dogs slipping 2 shots into the net almost back-to-back, under 40 seconds apart. Liam Sturtzinger nailed the first on a power play, and Tyler Tomberlin got the second tally after the reset. The lightning round of scoring put Fairbanks up 5-2 going into the final intermission.
I like to do it. I mean, I got a 6'4" body frame, so if I don't do that, I'd be pretty stupid. So I think I could use that to my abilities, and it gives me a little bit more space out there to do what I can do, because guys don't really try to gravitate towards me when I'm out there, so I just do what I can.
Minnesota's Alex Toscano would grab an early goal in the third period, but Fairbanks would answer back with a coup de grace 3-point run, taking the game in stride with a final score of 8-3.
Just got a good bounce there, and then I think they took 2 pretty dumb penalties after that, just yelling at the ref or whatever. And you could see it in their whole bench that they were unraveling. I think everyone was unselfish tonight. We were moving pucks and making plays, so we got a few bounces our way, a few calls our way, and it's not going to be the same tomorrow night. We're going to have to work for everything tomorrow.
Coombs would get his second of the night on a power play to spark the spree.
The first period, Stu came in the locker room and said we weren't at our best, and we dug down deep and said, hey, we got to pick it up in the second and third. And I think as the game went on, we improved in all aspects of the game, defensive zone, neutral zone, and offensive zone. So when you have a team like that can just are good in all 3 zones, we can go pretty far.
Jacob Streisberg and Caden Cahill contribute late, adding to the lead and toppling last year's Robertson Cup champions. And high school basketball players are on the road for another weekend of tournament action. Interior teams are spread out across the state, but some manage to see each other despite their distance from home. The Monroe Catholic Rams boys basketball team met up with the Hutchinson Hawks at the Dean Cummings Invitational in Delta Junction. The Rams rolled over the Hawks with a 61-17 win, advancing to the finals to play Delta Junction Saturday night. Gavin Jackson had the game-high tally for Monroe with 18 points. Delta, who will be greeting them on their home court, down Kotzebue 60-51 on Friday. The Hutch girls were also at the Dean Cummings tournament. They climbed the bracket to the finals after a 50-33 victory over the Galena Hawks. Both squads from West Valley were also traveling out of the interior for hoops action. The Wolfpack boys got the upper hand over South Anchorage with a 48-41 win at the O'Brady's Invitational. The girls, though, were in Barrow, beating the Whalers 59-45. Ruthie Hebert scored a tally of 26 for West. All right, that about brings us to the buzzer for sports tonight. Katie Looper will have your full weather forecast coming up next. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you next weekend. Welcome back to our Saturday edition. You know, today I didn't have to cover anything outside, but it wasn't too bad out there.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, we haven't really been doing many events outside, but next week it looks like things are really going to be shifting and we have something to look forward to.
Great.
So let's take a look at the almanac for today. We had a recent high of 1 below, recent low of 16. Our record high got up to 39 in 1981 and a record low of 60 below in 1906. Our sun rose at 10:06 this morning and sets at 4:02 this afternoon. Our daylight is almost at 6 hours altogether and giving us a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. Around the state today, rain showers in Juneau and Ketchikan, temperatures around 40 degrees, same with Kodiak. Cloudy skies in Anchorage and Cold Bay and partly sunny skies in Nome at 3 below. Up there in Barrow, 10 below, and Fairbanks is at 5 below with partly sunny skies. For the lower 48, we can see rain showers in Seattle at 46, partly sunny skies around Las Vegas and Phoenix, and same with Dallas at 50 degrees. Miami's checking in at 67, and up there in New York, partly sunny skies around 28. Now next week, things are drastically going to be changing. Rain on our northwest side of the states and nicer weather down south. Unseasonably cold weather for our Midwest and lots of snow up north. As we look on down south, we can see lots of showers and milder weather for our East Coast and Miami area. Now back in Alaska, mostly cloudy in Barrow and Nome, partly cloudy in Fort Yukon. Temperatures around 5 below for Fort Yukon and Barrow and 14 in Nome. For the interior, partly cloudy skies and warm temperatures across the region, and temperatures around 25 in Delta, 16 in Fairbanks, and 31 in Healy. Now on our east side of the state, rain for Juneau, rain likely for Ketchikan, and temperatures around 40. On our west side of the state, rain and snow showers in Cold Bay and Kodiak, and snow showers for Bethel. And temperatures around 25 in Bethel and mid-30s for Cold Bay and 42 in Kodiak. Now lastly, for our south central region, mostly cloudy in Anchorage, rain and snow showers in Homer and Valdez. Temperatures in the mid-30s for Anchorage and Valdez and 40 in Homer. For tonight's forecast, 9 below, mostly cloudy, higher temperatures in the hills. And for tomorrow, about 16, partly cloudy skies with a warm week ahead. As you can see, temperatures are looking lovely, around 25 all the way up to 30 on Wednesday. And then our nightly temperatures are going to be around 10 to 15. So like I said, something to look forward to. We can start spending more time outside.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, only a couple more weeks here until we're out of the clear for the really, really, really cold. So we'll see if we can keep this trend going.
It's not going to get much worse in February. 30 below in February is not very common, so
right.
It's going to be nice. All right, well, that'll wrap up this Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.